Let's take a look at some shortcuts and how you can create forms rather quickly, and also use something called smart tags. You may have discovered by now that you can place a control on a form in a number of ways. For example, if I wish to place a button on a form, I can simply select it from the toolbox and then move my mouse over to the form and draw and drag the button in its place. An alternative to that is to simply double click the button in the toolbox, and you notice what happens. It is placed over top of wherever the last button that I placed on the form previously. Once it's there, I can then move it around. I'll delete these by simply pressing the delete key when selected. So again, for example, I could select a label by simply clicking, drawing, and dragging. Or I can simply double click label, and now since I don't have a label on the form, it automatically defaults to the upper left corner of the screen. Once it's there, I can then move it about. Another useful tool is to use smart tags. For example, if you use a picture box or a text box, for example, you can use smart tags. Let me place a picture box onto the form, and if you look closely in the upper right corner of the picture box container, you see an arrow. This arrow is the smart tag. By clicking on this arrow, you open up the smart tag for that particular control. For example, clicking on that arrow, I now have some properties that I can select from. For example, I can choose the Choose Image icon, which opens the Select Resource dialog box that allows me to select a particular image to be placed onto the form. While we're here, notice that you can select by importing, which will allow you to do a search for an icon or a file that is a graphical file. Or if you have a local a file that's stored on your local computer, you can choose Local Resource and then import it from that location by choosing Import. So the smart tags are simply a shortcut for making changes rather than going to the Properties window. Not all controls have smart tag technology. Another one which does is the text box. Again, if I draw a text box onto the form, you will see that there is a smart tag. Click on the smart tag, and what's available to me is the multi-line property. The multi-line property allows you to display multiple lines of text. As you can see, it automatically makes the text box larger once I select multi-line. Clicking away from it then allows the smart tag to go away, and then you can choose that control again. Once again, if you decide you want to remove the multi-line property, you can simply click the smart tag and then uncheck the checkbox. The same effect is by simply going to the Properties window and choosing multi-line and choosing True. But the smart tag simply gives you a shortcut or a little more convenient way of doing so. As we progress in this tutorial, we will stop and share some other shortcuts and quick tips that will allow you to make the whole programming and design process much faster. It just takes practice to experiment with these controls and to find out how to effectively use them.